What's up guys, it's Gaz and welcome to another Warframe video. So today we're going to be going over Kuva Disruption and why you should probably run it if you're going to be farming Kuva. We're also going to be going over some suggestions I have for you guys on team comps and weapons and mod setups up to an hour in Kuva Disruption. By the end, an hour is up in Kuva Disruption and you've been doing all the rotations and stuff. The enemies are going to cap out around level 300-ish before you leave at an hour, okay? So we're going to be looking at the 300 level mark for the things we're testing today and the things that we're suggesting. And keep in mind that not everything is going to work for everyone as well as it is working for me and the things I'm suggesting, because I'm using the exact same build that I want to use. And if you're using something that's slightly off, it might be a little bit worse, it might be a little bit better, who knows, okay? So this is part 1 of 2 in a 2-video series, guys. This is the up to an hour strategies. We're going to have endurance strategies in the next video, which should probably be in the next 2 days. My plan is to make this video, make the Nightwave video tomorrow, make either the Gauss or the Endurance Disruption video on Monday, and then we'll move on past that, whichever one I didn't do that day, yada yada yada. So guys, here it is, Disruption. Kuva Disruption. I'm going to show you guys the rewards on screen right now and show you how the rewards for Disruption work. So, the maximum amount of Kuva you can get per rotational reward, so basically defending all 4 consoles, in Kuva Disruption, which is the new mission, you get 350 Kuva when you kill all 4 of the Demolists for that wave. Additionally, each Demolist in Kuva Disruption, guys, will drop 100 Kuva, which is affected by the Smita Cat booster. So I have a video of that right here, actually. This is us, I think we're around 18 or something. And we're fighting a level 200 Nox Demolist. And when we killed him, I had my Smita buff going, and it gave me 200 Kuva instead of 100 Kuva, guys. So the Smita Cat is a little bit useful in Disruption, but it's not as useful as in Survival. So that 350 Kuva you get from the rotational reward once you kill 4 Demolists on Rotation C, that is not affected by the Smita Cat, okay? So the Smita Cat is not going to be giving you as much value here. Also, that 350 Kuva is not affected by a booster. So if you don't have a booster going, Kuva Disruption is probably where you want to go to farm this stuff, guys, okay? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm going to show you guys the rewards for the rest of the Kuva, or the rest of the Disruption nodes, and you can just decide if those are worth farming for you. I'm going to say no for me. They basically, the only new reward in all the rest of the Disruption stuff, guys, is this Universal Medallion, which is actually a bad reward in my opinion, or a non-reward. I don't need that. And then the other new thing is the Lua Lens Blueprint on Apollo on Lua, which is a 10% drop chance on Rotation C. I'm probably going to get one of those, and I'm going to stop farming Lua Disruption. And the rest of them are just relics, pretty much. You get Gauss on Sedna Kelpie, so I guess that's something. And Gauss is actually pretty good in Disruption, too, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to farm for, guys. Okay? But we're going to be going over Kuva Disruption, as I said. And the big thing about Kuva Disruption is that they actually made the Demolist worse. You would think that the old Demolist, the Corpus one, would be the worst thing ever, but nope, we got an even worse one, guys. We have the Kuva Guardian Demolist now, and yeah, so let's look at his health compared to the normal, or the Corpus Demolist. So this Demolist, the Corpus one has 800 shield, 2000 robotic health. This Demolist Kuva Guardian has 150 armor, 2500 cloned flesh, and it's immune to abilities. It's immune to abilities, guys. So frame abilities do basically nothing to this guy. I'll just show Mesa really quickly, just trying to kill him, because I would normally recommend Mesa against these guys, against Demolists in general, or Wukong is really good as well, but for this guy specifically, yeah, you need to disarm him first off with the Operator, and then he doesn't take damage from abilities. So I'm going to recommend Maiming Strike on this guy. I'm going to recommend really hard-hitting melees with Condition Overload. Condition Overload is required, guys, if you want to go pretty high level against this specific enemy. So, yeah, the recommendation for this guy, we're going to spawn him really quickly. He does make the beeping thing like a normal Demolist from the Corpus version. Also has this sound effect to tell you where he is, and they will attack you when they're running towards the console. You need to be pretty careful. If you are a melee-based frame, make sure you're not on top of him when he's shooting out that aura, or it's going to negate your abilities. So, for example, I was in my 3 there for Wukong, it took me out right away. Do it again. Next pulse, he's going to release, took me out of my 3. So the thing about these Demolist guys is that you want to crowd control them because they have so much health, and you can't just nuke them down. So you want to basically go through a couple-step process to kill them. The first one is, for this Demolist specifically, which is the one we'll be covering in this video for the most part, you're going to want to disarm them. use Magus Lockdown Arcane for the operator to lock them down, and then remove their armor, and then apply Condition Overload, that's when you're going to start doing some damage with your melee with Condition Overload. So, for example, we have the Nkandi Prime. Does pretty good damage to him. I'm not even using the combo, really. They don't really pick up the Kesha again in mission, so don't worry too much about that. But basically, guys, your damage is going to be coming from melee in this. And you also, maybe you're building up the sniper combo counter, you could do some sniper damage. But yeah, this guy, first off, you're going to want to remove all the armor with corrosive projection. You're going to want to mod your weapons for viral if you have 4 corrosive projections, because they're Grineer. They have armor and health, so no shields required, no shields necessary, or no shields in the formula there. So don't worry about that. And then every player should be able to kill the Demolith solo, guys, if possible. I know that's not something that is possible for everybody, but if you can, make it so every player is able to kill the Demolith solo. And if you want to kill a Demolith solo, I'd recommend bringing a Maiming Strike weapon that can also use Condition Overload at the same time, and then using a pistol or something to apply additional procs. Because the way the damage stacks up on that specific Kuva Guardian Demolith, Maiming Strike or a really, really powerful melee is your only real option. Also, getting multiplied by crits. The Wisp Warframe is highly advised for this because her healing is very useful. You can place her buffs all around the map and it will keep people healed. So very, very valuable there. It also gives people fire rate to make it so their melees are swinging faster so they can kill the Demolist faster. Wisp is really useful, and a Wisp that is played right is probably the most valuable support in this mission specifically. Just because the way that she can spread her health orbs across the map, really, really helpful for this. Also, her shock mote, no matter what level the enemies are, they'll get shocked, and that's like them standing still. You can just shoot them or hit them with the melee. Also, like if you have higher attack speed from Wisp because of her buffs, like with this build we have 300% power strength, gives a ton of extra attack speed. It lets you build the combo multiplier faster, because the more hits you get off, the more combo you have, and it will let you get red crits with Blood Rush and all that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the speed does not seem as important as it is in survival, just because of the not getting doubled from the rotational rewards. Some of my top weapons for this, guys: Plague Zaws, the Oma with Maiming Strike, Sniper Rifles that you basically hit every headshot. Snipers aren't for everybody. Heavy Blades with the Broken Bowl combo, and the Redeemer Prime. Those are some of my recommendations that are non-frame related, okay? So, and those non-frame suggestions going to be pretty important against that Kuva Demolist, because the abilities aren't going to do any damage to him, okay? So, for Wisp, we're actually using a pretty high power strength build. I have Gladiator Resolve on here just because I didn't really have much else to put in that slot. I could put Adaptation in that slot, I suppose, and that would be really good. But, yeah, so the thing about Wisp, and the reason she's really valuable, guys, she gives this huge health buff thing where it's like we have 921 additional maximum health for all of our teammates. They get 92 health per second, and they also run 61% faster. The thing about Disruption, the faster you go, the faster you can run over to find the Demolist and kill it, and the faster the mission will progress. So if you like kill these guys right at spawn, which is what we were doing last night in our hour-long run, you're going to make the mission go really quickly, and the mission will scale faster. So by the time an hour was up, the enemies were like around, I think it was like 343 was the level I saw before I left. So yeah, if you do it quicker, the enemies scale faster because the mission's progressing faster. And then speed increasing things are very good here. So we had a Gauss in our squad last night. He's actually really good for disruption, guys. He can run around and find the keys really fast. He can run and put the key in the console really fast. He can run and kill the Demolist really fast because he's got attack speed buff as well. So Gauss is pretty good for this, although I do have a couple problems with some of his other stuff. Okay, so pretty good there. Let's go over some frame suggestions. This is going to include some of the stuff from the endurance video as well, guys. But we'll go into more depth on the endurance video. Okay, so here's some of the roles you're going to want here. Not every role is important or necessary at all. I'd say the most important thing is boss killer. Everyone should be a boss killer, basically. Like, ideally, you don't have to have everyone capable of killing Demolist, but having at least one person that can kill a Demolist is required. Because if you don't defend at least one console per rotation, guys, the mission fails and you lose all your Kuva. But the nice thing about this compared to survival is you don't need to like keep the kills per second up. You can actually just ignore the ads and kill the ones that drop the keys if you really wanted to. So here, boss killer. So some frames like Wukong, Mesa, Ivara, Chroma. For the Kuva Guardian Demolist specifically, those aren't going to really help you as much. Somebody that can self-buff heavily, like Chroma specifically, is going to be really nice against the Kuva Guardian Demolist. But against like the Nox Demolist and like the Heavy Gunner Demolist that are also in Kuva Survival, you can use Wukong and Mesa pretty well. The Ivara, that's more of a disruption endurance strategy that we'll be going over next video, like I said. So damage buffer, someone that can buff your teammates. So the fact that you can't really use damage like Mesa guns and like abilities like that on the Kuva Guardian Demolist means you want to buff people with like some damage buffers. So we got Oberon, Nezha, Saren, Rhino. They have like Oberon has his Smite and Fusion buff now, which is really nice. Also, Saren has her Venom Dose, which is pretty nice too. And those buffs do work on Mesa's pistols, guys. They also work on all weapons for your teammates. So something like this for Oberon, gonna be pretty nice. Not exactly like a huge min-max build, but we've got Smite and Fusion, we've got a decent amount of tank ability. We're still gonna get hurt pretty badly at the higher levels, but we're also gonna give this tank ability to our teammates, which is really nice, and the additional radiation bonus. Radiation doesn't have a good multiplier against these Kuva Guardian Demolists, but all the extra damage does make a difference, trust me. So try that out if you want to. That Oberon in combination with Wisp, getting the additional damage and the additional attack speed is a really good DPS situation. So yeah, I'd recommend trying both of them out if you want to. We've also got Nezha. Nezha's second ability, the Blazing Chakram, it does apply to the Demolist. I haven't actually tested if it works on the Kuva Guardian Demolist, so for him specifically, maybe Nezha wouldn't be a good choice. I still need to test that. Rhino, I don't think his Stomp works on the Demolist, but it works on the normal Demolist. Or it doesn't work on the Kuva Guardian Demolist, it works on the normal Demolist for sure, though. Healing supports, as I mentioned, Oberon and Wisp, they're a good combination. If you can put your Corrosive Projection on Oberon, maybe take that Steel Charge off if you can. I definitely would recommend 4 Corrosive Projections for this. Trinity, you could bring Trinity. I mean, Trinity might have some problems because there's lots of enemies that spawn in Disruption, but who knows? And also, Magus Repair is a support, technically. It heals your entire team if they're near you. And we've got Area DPS for ads. This isn't as important, but if you are having, like, there's enemies constantly spawning, and since, like, there is no survival thing, like, you don't really need to kill them, but if you want to just, like, keep some heat off of your team, area DPS like Mesa, Saren, Khora, Gara, those can be good. They are not really as amazing against the Demolist specifically, besides Mesa. And Gara, I wouldn't recommend trying to DPS the Demolist with Gara's second ability because you're just going to get nullified and die immediately. But Khora, on the other hand, Khora can CC the Demolist for a while too. She can lock down areas with her 4. Her whip does work against the Demolist last time I checked. I don't know if that's been changed since the update yesterday. I haven't actually tested it. But yeah, she should probably still bring a Condition Overload melee, though, to be honest. And then let's move on to the next role. So you got Crowd Control. So Crowd Controllers, they can be important, they can not be important. So the thing is, having a Crowd Controller in your team is going to matter, depend on if you have Magus Lockdowns or not. Also, look at this amazing Haro skin. Oh my god, I love it. So if you have a bunch of Magus Lockdowns in your squad, you're probably not going to need a CC frame at all, unless you just want like additional safety. But I found that one of the best CC frames for Disruption is Haro. So the reason for Haro being one of the best CC frames for Disruption is that his chains, first off, they work on the Demolist. With this build, the duration is going to start at 6 seconds. And as I said, the Demolist always takes diminished duration from CC. So since we have 12 seconds duration on our build, guys, it's going to start at 6 seconds duration on that Demolist first chains cast. After he gets rid of that 6-second chain cast, the next cast will last 3 seconds, because it's half the duration of the initial cast. And after that, it's 1.5 seconds, so it keeps becoming half duration on him. So with Haro, you'll have about like 12-ish seconds of lockdown if you keep locking him down with your chains, and that's really good. Haro can also give his critical chance buff, which is really, really nice if you're using something like the Redeemer Prime for DPS, or if you're using, even if you're using Maiming Strike, like just getting everything to be red guaranteed can be pretty nice there. Haro does have some survivability issues at really high levels. Like, that's why having a Wisp is nice. It will give Haro another 900 health, which should help him a little bit. But yeah, keeping in mind just knowing when to cast your 4, knowing when to get your energy back by channeling your 3. Like, Haro is not the easiest frame to play. Lots of ability presses, lots of situational awareness. So if you know what to do with him, he can be good. But yeah, you need to know what you can do with him. But looking for an excuse to just use this new awesome skin, I mean, I think that's a pretty good excuse. Okay, just moving on, just going to finish off this section before we're going to show a couple more high-level Demolist kills, guys, and then we're going to end the video. I'm not going to show builds for everybody, but we'll show builds for like the main important characters, okay? So like the last 2 roles, are basic. Oh, I want to show Frost, actually. Frost is important. I actually did a lot of thinking on this Frost build, and this Frost build is actually really good. So it's called, I basically call it like a Trapper Frost, because that's the idea of what he's going to be doing. He's basically going to be looking for where the Demolist is going to be appearing, and setting a trap for the Demolist. So what we're doing here is we're actually using the Freezing Force. That's not important. We're using Freeze Force just for fun, to give our teammates additional cold damage for 40 seconds, but we're actually using Ice Wave Impotence, and we're using a decent range build and decent duration build. So what this does is that it makes like an entire room with this build covered in ice, and a Demolist is going to get slowed down in that room. So let's quickly just spawn a Demolist. That's not the Kuva Guardian one, because it doesn't work on the Kuva Guardian one. So basically, you're going to be setting up a trap for this Demolist. It's going to be entering a room. You can hear the beeping from across the room, and what you're going to do is like it's to start running towards you. You throw down the ice field. It's so much slower now. And then you can Magus Lockdown it, and then you can just do as you please, whatever you need to do. Its Nullifying Field doesn't... It like will affect part of the room, but it seems to be a pretty good slow, guys. And if you want to bring Frost, I mean, it seems like a pretty good excuse to bring Frost. Also can buff yourself with this ice damage, and it doesn't help too much, but, you know, it's better than just whatever else you put in that slot. So, Frost can be really, really nice if you're, like, not against the Kuva Guardian Demolist specifically, okay? And that's pretty much it for the CC frames. As far as the not die section, that's just, like, they're not really useful to the team. It's just, like, you're going to bring this frame if you don't want to die. So, for example, Anaros, he's not going to die. You don't even need mods for Anaros, honestly, or a reactor. But yeah, just throw all this stuff on there. Throw some health mods on. This is what you could literally just run this build right here, and you might die a couple times, but you're not gonna die too much. Okay, so you still have 4,000 health with this build, with unmaxed vitality. So yeah, Anaros is a great choice. I'm gonna show the Cheese Hildren build really quickly that people have been asking me about. So the thing about this Hildren build, guys, is you actually can't use your abilities. And then another essential thing here is you want to equip the Decaying Dragon Key, which is going to reduce your overall shields. It just makes it so you can't die, pretty much. And you're also going to be running double Arcane Aegis if you have that. It makes this a lot more consistent, let me just tell you. So what you want to do here for the Gimmick Hildren build is you want to run no shield capacity mods, and you want to run every shield recharge mod in the game, with that negative shield key that I was talking about, the Decaying Dragon Key. So for this one, guys, the way the shield gating from her passive works is basically you're just going to be invincible forever, and your abilities are useless. So we can quickly show that if it works. Let's see. Shield. I wouldn't really recommend this, but it is something you can do, technically. I don't think the shield key is being taken into account, so we're going to leave the Simulacrum and re-enter. I hope you guys are finding the update enjoyable. I think Gauss is really fun. He just has some weird modding things about him that hopefully get addressed. Basically, strength doesn't really do much for him right now, and I just think that's anti-fun. So, hope that gets changed. It just wasn't showing up in the UI. Okay, so ideally, this will not be able to kill us, period, if we get close to him. Let's go in. So this guy is level 165. So see, our shield is starting to... Shield gate. Okay. Work. Now our shield's regenerating. Now we're at full shield. It almost didn't work there. It almost didn't give us the Aegis proc fast enough. So yeah, what's happening here is, like, first up, we're fully adapted to his damage type. So we're taking basically no damage. And if our shields go down, we have enough time for them to technically regenerate fully. As you see, we went to 229 health there, so it's not a foolproof method. It does work pretty often if you have the double Aegis, but it's not always going to work. Okay, guys? So that's something you can try. You can just keep shooting him, but keep in mind that in mission, he's going to just keep running towards the objective. So you need to definitely keep that in mind and play smart. Building up that combo counter on the Redeemer Prime, very important. Also, if you want to do a crit build on the Redeemer Prime, something to keep in mind, guys, that is very, very essential for a crit build on the Redeemer Prime, is you actually want to be running something that gives you crit chance. Because the way Blood Rush scales is that it goes off the modded crit chance for the weapon. So we're actually using Sacrificial Pressure and Sacrificial Steel. This gives you less damage overall, but it gives you more crit chance. So if we were to take off Sacrificial Steel and put in Pressure, or whatever it's called, the normal critical chance mod, that's not the Umbra version, it gives you 60% crit chance. We go to 25%. You can still do that, but I found that doing this and getting the 33% it was more valuable, and it gets you to the orange and red crit area a lot faster, okay? So this is going to be a good build for the Redeemer. If you don't have a Riven, you might just want to put like a 90% or a 60-60 in that slot, and hopefully get to full stash chance still. Where is that mod? Do I already have all 4 on there? I only got 3 on there. It's electric, I believe. So searching critical electric. There we go. All right. Hopefully that can still get you to 100%. It gets you to 89.6. That's too bad, but maybe just put Prime Fury in that slot then, if you want to. If you don't have a Riven, I would recommend getting a Riven for the Redeemer Prime. Most important stats in the Redeemer Prime are status chance and damage. I have critical damage, which just makes it hit harder when I get those crits. And you could replace critical damage with critical chance. You could replace it with overall damage. Most important thing is status chance, guys, just so it gets you to that 100% mark even easier, okay? And yeah, let's go over a couple more high-level Demolist kills before we get out of this video. So here is actually 2 Demolists appearing at the same time in our hour-long run. We were testing how hairy this gets an hour in, because I want to see, like, the Kuva Flood resets once every hour. Is it viable to sit in here for an hour? I'm going to say it's not viable to sit in Kuva Disruption for an hour unless you have an organized team, guys. We had an organized team for this, and we were able to do it. We also had people with really good Rivens. We had a Mesa on our squad. We had 4 Corrosive Projections. So enemies don't have armor. The thing about 4 Corrosive Projections, yeah, it's really important for the Demolist, but it's also extremely important for all the ads, because all the ads also have armor in Kuva Disruption, and they take a lot of damage reduction. So make sure you have as many of those as possible. Here's me comparing the kill speed of my Fulman with a God tier Riven versus Maiming Strike. So that is a Gauss with Maiming Strike right there, just spamming maiming into the back of that Demolist. That's going to be one of your best sources of DPS, guys, if you're not, if you can't use Mesa's guns or Wukong's stick for that matter, okay? So, yeah, that's going to be basically it. I'm going to say that if the Fulman is not really going to cut it for DPS that late in the game, we're going to show the Wukong build. It's the same build as my my Wukong video, but you actually want to mod your Iron Staff for Viral here, guys. This is the build I was using. So this one right here, we can't actually fit Corrosive Projection on this build, so that's really bad. But you do so much damage with Wukong. Hopefully it's okay. If you could maybe run something like this instead with Corrosive Projection on the build, probably would be better. But yeah, we could mess with this. Probably fit Corrosive Projection on this build somehow, because I do have an Aura Forma on my Wukong Prime, which is now purchasable from the market for 80 plat. And then you're building the Iron Staff. This is why I use the Iron Staff. Basically the exact same build as the video, but we replaced Shocking Touch with North Wind in this slot, and then we were able to fit Drifting Contact in the wrong polarity there. Okay, guys? So I hope you found this video helpful. The Kuva Demolist is probably the most annoying enemy in the game, and they do get really, really tanky. Like level 300 Kuva Demolist, it took multiple people to kill it, guys. I was not able to kill it solo. At least when I was the amount of paying attention I was doing last night, because I was pretty bored last night. But we had fun for like the first day. I'm gonna say we had fun for the first day. As far as the other disruption nodes, not really worth farming until you get Gauss. And I actually did read what the Lua Lens does. The Lua Lens gives you, I think it's 3.5% of additional unused affinity into focus. So the Eidolon Lens is like 2.5%. The Lua Lens is 3.5%. So congratulations. Welcome to the end game, guys. I will talk to you in the next video tomorrow. We'll have the endurance strategies up a couple days, and they will be very different strategies than what we're showing you here right now, guys. And yeah, hope you found this video fun and helpful. I will talk to you soon, guys. Peace.